Welcome everybody. My name's Sue Willis and I'd like to welcome you to Conversations in End-of-Life Care. I'm the course leader for the MOOC. I'm also a course leader for the MSc in Supportive and Palliative Care, which is another distance learning course we offer here. It's a multidisciplinary course, so I'm very pleased that we've got a number of people involved from the course delivering this MOOC along with us. I'm here with Barbara Beard, Denise Hodgson and Anne Jessup this morning. So the aim of this introductory webinar is really to give you an opportunity to use the webinar facilities and get used to using that opportunity to ask questions through the chat box. So if you do have any questions, just type into the chat box, press enter, and then we can respond to your queries. I just want to tell you a little bit more about the aims of the course. We're hoping that we can use this course to find out a little bit more about the needs of patients and carers, because they find it difficult to talk about their concerns about death and dying and often don't know where to turn for help and support. And it's also difficult for health professionals sometimes to know how to support people when they do want to have these conversations. So this online course gives us that opportunity to have those conversations in a supported environment. So the course aims to provide an opportunity to engage in conversations about death and dying and preparing for end of life, and we will have a good opportunity to learn from experiences of both patients, carers and other health professionals. An opportunity to reflect on your own practice or your own experiences and write down those and keep those reflections in your workbooks. So what we're hoping that you will achieve or learn while you're taking part in the course is that you'll understand a little bit more about the theories around loss and bereavement and understand and accept that loss and bereavement are the natural part of life, and recognise that there are various cultural, spiritual and personal attitudes towards death and dying. And we also hope that you'll gain an understanding about the experience of grief and how this can occur in all types of loss and not just death. We also hope to identify that you will be able to make use of the available information resources and find out a little bit more about the support available to people who are experiencing loss and death or nearing end of life. I'd just like to welcome Julie to the room. I can see that she's joined us, so that's welcome to Julie, and good morning. Thank you for joining us. Basically what we're doing is we're just giving a very brief overview of what is involved in the course, and we're going to record this session and post it on the webinar for on the MOOCs for those people who aren't able to take part. So one of the other things we're hoping that you will learn while you're taking part in the MOOC is become aware of some of the practical arrangements necessary at the time of death. So these 5 bullet points that you can see on the slide there are hopefully some of the things that you'll be able to take away from taking part in the course. Okay, so I'm going to hand over now to Denise, who's going to talk to you about looking after yourself.
Thanks, Sue. I'm sat in the right position. Hi, I'm Denise Hodgson, and I'm one of the facilitators of this open online course. And I I've been involved in teaching for a number of years, and particularly in distance learning approaches at master's level, so I'm really looking forward to taking part in this particular course. I will be hosting next week's webinar where we have Sam from St Luke's Hospice, and he will be talking about how he approaches these conversations around death and dying. I also support Sue on teaching on the Masters in Supportive and Palliative Care, so some of the modules I am put into on that. I also teach some similar topics in the undergraduate programme as well, so sort of face-to-face lectures and seminars. So what Sue's asked me to do is talk a little bit now about looking after yourself. So, you know, Sue has said just previously about death and dying being part of the natural course of life. But talking about death is really emotional, and yes, it's part of life, but we need to try and get a balance, and that's what I sort of want you to think about at the outset of the course. So it is important that you're able to switch off from thinking about death and dying, and recognise that at times it is okay to push everything out of your mind and not to think about it, and that doesn't matter who that is, whether you are a patient, a carer, a health professional. It's just making sure that you've got time where you can sort of replenish your own energy. You know, compassion is hard work, so in order to be compassionate, yes, we need to feel that emotion, but we also need to be able to deal with it as well. So, you know, I think my main message here is about getting a balance. We're going to be having some fairly in-depth conversations, I'm sure, over the next 2 weeks, and some difficult issues will arise. So it's really just reminding yourself that you need to look after yourself to be able to care for other people. So there is a section on this workbook in the first week, and it's called Looking After Yourself. So it would be useful for you to explore that as part of your orientation week, thinking about you know, someone that you might want to talk to. It might be a colleague or a friend, talking about the course, what you think about it, what your thoughts are. And one of the first activities will be to actually choose somebody to talk to about death and dying. The other thing about looking after yourself, or feeling that you can cope with difficult conversations, or thinking about how you will approach those, is to be part of this community on the MOOC. So talking to each other as well through the conversations pages, we're hoping will be part of that. Feeling part of the community and being able to discuss the difficult issue of death and dying. I think also as well, if you look at that section on the workbook, it asks you to identify more formal support. And I think Sue said in her introduction to the MOOC that it isn't a formal support service, so it's about identifying who that might be. There are already some postings on there of really useful organisations, but it would be good for you to explore that in your own area, either at work or at home, or social circle where you might find that support. The other thing I wanted to say is that writing can be very therapeutic. So as part of the workbooks, we'll be asking you to reflect on things. Some people might want to keep a personal journal that they don't share with anybody. And what we do know about that type of activity is that by engaging in those reflections, you will develop confidence in talking with other people about end-of-life issues, and you will feel more competent as well. And it's really good to sometimes get things off your chest and write it down. So, you know, we think that is an important part of this course. And the last thing I wanted to say was you need to make sure that you do that thing where you push everything out of your mind, because when we're working on something or reading something or perhaps watching a video, it sort of triggers a chain of thoughts that continue long after that actual learning experience happens. And there's a danger that you can become too involved in that. So what I'm saying is that you need to take some time out to do the things that you really enjoy. And what I want everybody to do is make themselves a promise that this week you will do something that is enjoyable, fun, something perhaps that you've never done before that you're going to get pleasure from. So my promise is that I'm going to bake a cake. Now that sounds like really a very mundane thing to do, but anybody that knows me will know that I don't bake very often, so I'm going to really enjoy doing a banana and walnut loaf at the weekend. Think about what you can do each week that you will get some real pleasure from, and use that as your measure of getting the balance right. Okay, I think that's me, and we move on to Barbara now, who's going to talk actually more about the content of the course.
Hello everyone, my name is Barbara Beard and I'm a senior lecturer at Sheffield Hallam University. I worked for 18 years at St Luke's Hospice, we're really pleased are involved with this course as well. And I moved to the university 7 years ago, and I've done many things over the time that I've been involved with palliative care, and I'm now module leader for several of the modules in the MSc, Supportive and Palliative Care, and also support the students for their dissertations. And I also work as a volunteer at St Luke's with the bereavement service, so I support the bereaved in their own homes. So today I'm going to be talking about the actual content of the course. But the content is only part of it, because what we want you to do is to be able to make your own contributions as well. So this is just the foundation when I'm talking about the content. But through the conversation areas that Denise has just been talking about, and the queries and during the webinars, we hope that you're also going to make those contributions too. So the first week, which starts next Monday, is about talking about dying. And there is a webinar on the Tuesday that Denise has mentioned by the medical director of St Luke's. But it's also the opportunity for you to think about what are your own feelings about death, and how might you be able to speak about that to other people. We have several aspects of the course where we've got some videos of people who have been diagnosed with a terminal illness, who are going to be talking about their own feelings and what it's like for them, and also professionals on how they are responding. So it's not just written that's going to be the content, but there is quite a lot of you'll be able to see the videos of different people and their different experiences. There's also the opportunity for you to take part in some activities. And the activity, or one of them, for example, on the first week, is to hear a patient talking about how she feels her body image has changed since she was diagnosed. And then we ask you to think about how might I make an empathic comment in relation to that. So there's a little bit of the content of the theory, but there's also the personal experiences. So the second week, we're looking at spirituality and also cultural aspects of end-of-life care. And the facilitator of the webinar that week is going to be the senior chaplain from St Luke's Hospice. And he's going to be talking about spirituality and also quality of life, because that's very much part of this week as well. It's not just the dying we're talking about during this whole of the SHOOC. It's also about how to live before someone dies, and being able to do things that perhaps you hadn't thought about doing before, but now they have the opportunity to do them. And we're also going to look at some cultural aspects of dying, but this is another area we want you to be involved. If you feel that you've got, in your own area, we're aware, I think we've got 26 countries involved. So we have many different cultural approaches to dying. We really want you to be involved and join in and perhaps share your information and experience with the other members of the course. So it's not sitting back just looking what's happening, it's taking part as well that we want you to do. Week 3 is looking at preparing for end of life. And this again focuses on the time before someone might be dying, looking at advanced care planning. What might you want to happen at the time, not just at the time of death, but before the death, and also what you might want to share with your family, and perhaps looking at preparations for a funeral, and you have the opportunity to think about what you might like for your funeral. I've already made my preparations for a funeral quite a while back, and I've finally persuaded my husband to do it as well. So it is something to talk about with partners and family and friends. And so week 3 is very much involved with this. And also, what is a good death? And that's something perhaps you can be thinking about for a while. Then week 4, we finish with bereavement, and looking at, again, some theories of loss and bereavement, but also the personal experiences. And again, we've got some of the videos that you can see throughout the module of different people who are involved. And you know, when we were asking people to do this, we realised it's not an easy thing to do. So after my father died, I've also been filmed talking about my own feelings, just so that we all know what it's like. It's not easy to talk about things, but it's also how other people can give you support in that. And for the webinar for this week, we have the bereavement coordinator from St. Luke's Hospice who's going to be talking. And I'll be actually facilitating the webinars in week 2 and week 4. And I've realised I didn't mention week 3 webinar, but that week we have a consultant in palliative care and also a service user coordinator who's going to be talking about their roles, and then you have the opportunity to ask questions. So I'm going to pass back over to Sue now, who's going to talk about the next part of the course. Thank you.
Well, I think, I hope you can see from what Barbara and Denise have said, that we're very lucky to have such experts in the field, and also we're really pleased to be able to be working with St. Luke's on this MOOC, and we're all really looking forward to hearing about your experiences and what you have to bring to the conversations, because we think that's going to give everybody a really rich experience and something to take away from taking part in the course. So I just wanted to talk a little bit now about some of the things that, if you're interested, that you can do in terms of getting some credit or getting some acknowledgement for your learning. For some people, it might be quite important that they can demonstrate that they've actually taken part in the course, and that it's something that they can show to colleagues and employers and things like this. So what I'm talking about are open badges, and you'll see as you progress through each of the weeks that there will be different activities for you to engage in. So as well as watching videos and reflecting on your experiences, you will be able to document that in the actual workbook, and that's unique to you. That's your own personal reflections, but there will also be some activities there to support that. And if you wish to, you can actually earn an open badge for your contribution, and there will be some information about how you can do that on the orientation page. You can find that information there. But if there are any questions about that, just go to the conversation space and click on the questions and queries thread, and here we can provide more information for you. So basically, open badges or electronic badges, it's a good way to show people, you know, what you've experienced on the course, how you can use this to forward your personal development, and because this is not, you're not going to get academic credit for taking part in the course, it is a good way to demonstrate to people, you know, what you've actually learned and achieved while you're taking part in the course. So we hope people will take the opportunity to use that facility. So the other thing I wanted to mention was that we very briefly mentioned it already, is that we do have the space for questions and queries. So the orientation week really is for you to get to grips with using the technology, getting familiar with PebblePad, engaging in the conversation space, and other things that we invite you to take part in. But as I said, there is the questions and queries thread, and you just click on post a comment and just ask us your question. We've also got a new addition this year. We've got the bulletin board, and this is so that we can let you know of things that happen as we go along. New announcements. We've also, if there's any new information or resources, we can put that on the bulletin board, and you can check that each week and see what's new and what's coming up. So we'll keep everybody posted about what's happening through that mechanism, rather than emailing individuals. So we think that that will be a useful resource for people. So really, I don't know if anybody wanted to add anything. I hope this has been a useful introduction, and we're really looking forward to engagement from participants. And as I said earlier, this webinar, although it's brief, it's been recorded, and hopefully people will access that at a time to suit them. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that that's been helpful for you. Thank you. All right, I'm just noticing that you're typing in there, Julie, so I'll just see what you... That's lovely. Well, thank you for taking the time to engage. I've enjoyed having you. Do you have any more questions before you go? Great. That's lovely. Well, thank you very much. Hello everybody. Although we finished the formal presentation, I'd like to introduce you to another member of our team, Anne Jessup, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself.
Hello, my name is Anne Jessup, and I'm one of the senior lecturers here at Sheffield Hallam, part of the radiotherapy and oncology team. My background is as a radiotherapy radiographer, and I joined the teaching team at SHOOC back in 2002. I'm currently module leader for the collaborative working in supportive and palliative care, which is one of the mandatory modules of our MSc in supportive and palliative care. I will be facilitating the week 3 webinar with Sue Willis, and look forward to working with you all. Good luck.
Thank you.